Hello, everyone. My name is Jeff Nobers. I'm the Executive Director of the Builders Guild of Western Pennsylvania. I'm sure many of you are familiar with the Guild, and also this newer entity that we want to talk about today, and I appreciate the MBA giving us the opportunity to give you some more information on Pittsburgh Works Together. We founded this organization a little over a year ago, and the membership is comprised of the Builders Guild, our trade unions, and many of our contractor associations, as well as some corporations such as U.S. Steel and Peoples and Range Resources, CNX, workforce development folks, chambers of commerce folks, and really our mission is to promote the values of our industries and also to rebuff some of the attacks, especially on the environmental front, that consistently are being launched against many of the corporate partners here, which of course in time and has an impact on our trades and our contractors who work in those industries. So what we are is a cooperative venture. It's labor, including the United Steelworkers are a member, along with our trade unions, the businesses we've discussed, economic development, workforce leaders, and what our real commitment is to have an economy in our region that does account for everyone, whether it's blue collar manufacturing to research and high tech, that we honor all of these industries and recognize all of these industries that play a critical role in what our economy is. So, from our standpoint, we have tens of thousands of people who've been displaced from service industry jobs as a result of the pandemic. So we not only need to rebuild, but we need to grow the economy regionally, statewide, and nationally. And there's been a lot of fundamental changes in the way that we work, and maybe not quite as much in our industry, but in a general sense there is. So we have to look at different ways to approach things, and we have to look at different alliances that we maybe didn't consider in the past. And I think that's what Pittsburgh Works brings to bear. So we view our path to recovery and growth to be innovative thinking, bipartisanship, which I think we all agree is in short supply today, as well as political and social willpower. Tough decisions will have to be made. Some of these are going to take, a certain level of fortitude and guts that necessarily don't get used all the time. And we've really allowed our destiny to be determined by other countries and by other interests. And we just believe that we need to take this back and really approach it from our own standpoint and what's in our best interest. And from a standpoint of our region, I think we all can agree that we do have the talent, the natural and human resources, that we can be a global leader, that we can really see a robust economy here, but there are some things that have to happen to get us to that point. So we've worked on an agenda that you could look at as being legislative as well as socially driven, as well as just philosophically driven. And we have actually had these conversations with a lot of our elected state officials, and many of these things we're going to discuss briefly here have been included in the policy agenda for the House leadership and the Senate leadership in Pennsylvania, which is Republican controlled, as most of us know. And again, we talk about different types of alliances. Here you have multiple labor unions that traditionally we're not going to be aligned with the Republican Party, that are aligned with them now, because the reality is we're all talking about the same thing and we're all thinking the same way. So, one of the key things we have to do is rebuild infrastructure, and we know this is being discussed now, and it's being moved forward in Washington. But, from our standpoint, whatever that plan becomes, the things we do have to have a long-term meaningful impact. So, what are those areas? Obviously, transportation. Our power grid really needs to be addressed. water and wastewater treatment, which get very little attention. Air quality gets a lot of attention, but water and wastewater do not. And not just the drinking water supply and lead pipes, but here in Western Pennsylvania, whenever we have a rain event, significant rain event, we are dumping raw sewage into our rivers and streams and creeks because the treatment facilities just can't handle that inflow. And there is a way to solve it, but that way to solve it obviously takes money, and you don't want to balance or put all of that on the backs of ratepayers. We need to encourage private investment. It's no secret that Pennsylvania is not a business-friendly state, whether it's from the standpoint of the corporate tax rate, which is among the highest in the country, to the fact that permitting in the state of Pennsylvania, to permit a pipeline takes about 2.5 years in Pennsylvania. By contrast, in Ohio, it takes less than 60 days. So it's not that Ohio isn't doing it right, that they're not doing their due diligence. It's just that they have a commitment to encourage private investment and to grow that energy industry. And we need to have that same mindset here in Pennsylvania. So, pushing legislation that would solve some of those problems. We need to better promote vocational education. Obviously, in our industry, the construction industry, we've done a great job with that. But there are a lot of other industries that have not or have not had the need to do that. So we're very supportive of seeing an expansion of vocational education, both at the high school level and at the apprenticeship level in allied industry. Clean and inexpensive power, let's face it, the basis of any successful economy is energy. 8% of GDP in this country is energy, which doesn't sound like a lot. But if you think about it, if you don't have that 8% of cheap and reliable power, you don't get the other 92%. So, we really need to embrace this wonderful resource we have, the Marcellus and Utica shale fields, and take full advantage of that, but do it responsibly. Do it environmentally in an environmentally friendly way, and we certainly promote that and agree with that, as that goes for all natural resource development. We believe that Pittsburgh and Pennsylvania should be first. Whenever we are doing projects in the state, especially those that are state funded or publicly funded, whether it's federal dollars, local dollars, state dollars, it should be mandated that every product used in that project, and every contractor, every subcontractor, everyone working on that is from Pennsylvania at a minimum. And if for some reason you can't find that product here, then it has to be from the United States. And that's the way you start to rebuild the economy and show companies that they can bring their supply chains back here. I know on the federal level, the current administration is trying to do that. We're working with the leaders in the state house to do a similar program here in Pennsylvania. Good jobs and a healthy environment. We don't see these as not doable together. We believe you can have good jobs and have a good environment. And I think we've proven that here to a large extent. If you look past over the 10 to 15 years, while we've had an expanded economy, really remarkable growth in our region, we've also reduced greenhouse gas emissions in this region in the area of 35 to 40%, which is among the best in the country. And the state of Pennsylvania, quite frankly, is in compliance with the Paris Accords, that were negotiated many years ago. So, we can do this. We are doing it, and we should be able to continue to do that. And then, finally, we really need to educate our lawmakers and others on workforce development and the critical needs of this in our region, going beyond apprenticeships or going beyond vocational training. So, these are many of the things we're working on, and I would invite you, if you're interested, to go to our website, which is pghworks.com, pittsburghworks.com. You'll find a lot more information to these things that I discussed here today. And you can also sign up to receive emails from us We're working at this point on a monthly newsletter, but in the interim of a monthly newsletter, we also send out updates on legislation. We send out news stories of topical interest to things that can impact us here in the region or on a national basis. So I thank you for your time and attention today. Again, I want to thank the MBA, which is a member of Pittsburgh Works, for giving me the opportunity to speak with all of you here today. And I think if we all work together and really take an approach of common sense, we certainly can accomplish, if not all, certainly many of the goals and the things that we discussed here today. Thank you very much.